You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's also Wellness Wednesday. So I'm always overjoyed to be joined in studio by Claudine Cooper, ClaudineCooper.com. You can get all the information. Claudine, first, it's great to see you. I'm a Nike person like you. So when you're adorned in Nike, it's like, yes, we're simpatico.
I'm head to toe in Nike today. Hey, Mo, it's good to be back. I love being in studio with you. So what's been going on?
Well, we started the show tonight talking in part about the 7-Eleven ransacking by the youth and how it had been going on for maybe 4 weeks or so within a certain area. Police took the videos from the various ransackings and they put it out to the media, and the media showed it, and we all saw it. And then there were some parents who recognized their own kids.
Oh, my.
And at least 3 different kids have been arrested because their parents turned them in. And I want to put this question to you. And I say this because your husband has a law enforcement background.
Yes, and we have 3 teenagers at this present moment.
I said, if my father saw me on that video,
what would he do?
Well, he would have first killed me and then turned me in.
Turned you in dead?
Because I was, yes.
Okay, got it.
Because I was more afraid, and rightfully so, more afraid of my father than I was the police.
Okay.
But if they saw me doing that, that reflected on him, and he would have turned me in, no doubt. What do you think you and or your husband would have done?
Well, you know, I this is a tough one for me because I honestly think that whatever happened leading up to these teenagers doing this, and we could say it's peer pressure, we could say, oh, they're just doing it because it's cool, they think they're being cool or whatever. I often ask, what happened before this? How did we get here? Because I can tell you right now, my youngest, which is my son, so we have 2 daughters that are the older 2, and then my son is the youngest. My son would not, I can say this beyond a shadow of a doubt, he would not participate in these shenanigans. He would be looking like, oh no, would you say you're so scared of your dad? You would have...
No doubt. There were physical consequences waiting on me.
Wait a minute. I can't even imagine the thought process of my son in this situation. But I'm more of the, I'm kind of the nice parent. I'm the, what do you call it? The one who'd be like, okay, we're not going to tell. We're going to just, You're
going to handle it internally inside the house.
Just handle it internally. But yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one for me only because, I was raised by the opposite of law enforcement. And so we believe that snitches
get stitches. Okay. Now, your husband may have a different approach. How do you think he would have approached this?
It's hard to say. He's not here, but I will say that if he saw his child, any one of his children on a video participating in any criminal activity, I would be scared for their life. Okay? I would be terrified for them. Yeah.
And part of the reason I brought this up because you made a great point, and it's part of what I was thinking. It's like, what happened before that? And I wonder, is it a lack of activities which are available to them? Do kids have too much free time and they find themselves getting into these situations? Is it something else? Because I know when I was in high school, we had athletics, we had chess club. There were activities. There were things that we could do. And from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, those things don't exist anymore for high schoolers.
Well, we live in a very close-knit community, something that's rare. And we still have young adults and teenagers who actually participate in like street ball and going outside.
They play outside?
They play.
Do they play pole-to-pole football in the street?
They play. It's not pole-to-pole, but it's corner-to-corner.
Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly
light pole to light pole.
Yes, and so our kids were raised in this environment, which is so rare. People who come over, they're like, ooh, that's kind of old school. The kids are outside and they're in the street. We live in a cul-de-sac, and it's in a gated community. So the kids pretty much have just lived their life not really knowing that there's a whole segment of the population who does not have the outdoor activity, who doesn't get that interaction. And Mo, this is such a good tipping point for what I wanted to talk about tonight, because I wanted to talk about the social impact of being together in communal activities, right? As you know, I teach group fitness, so I'm a big proponent of how important it is for us to move our bodies, but I'm also noticing a huge impact for people who are excited to get together with other people in a group.
Well, I think we learned that, and it was much more readily apparent during the pandemic because we were robbed of that.
Yes.
And we were acutely aware of what we were missing.
That's one thing. And since I've been back in the gym and I've noticed how people are drawn to this energy of the group, right? I'm saying, wow, maybe that was something that we were really missing during the pandemic. But I watched a video recently on TikTok because I'm obsessed with TikTok and I can just go down the rabbit hole in TikTok. But this guy was saying that it started long before the pandemic, that people started being more protective of their children based on what was going on outside, and they've been keeping their kids indoors more. So you've been seeing less outdoor play. But one thing he said is that in seeing less outdoor play, you're also noticing that kids don't have basic skills like problem solving skills, social interaction skills. There's all these things that are impacted by you not playing outside.
Conflict resolution.
There you go. That was one of the things he said, conflict resolution. So all of these things that we are learning through play, or that we're learning just by being outdoors, or being like what we used to do, just go outside and have to come back in when, you know,
the street lights came on.
So now you're keeping your kids at home because you're trying to keep them safe, but are they safe?
Well, I know when my parents used my outside time as the carrot and balanced it with the stick. Like, if you want to go outside and play, you have to make sure you've done your homework, you're being respectful at home. You had to earn that outside time because that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to get outside collectively, play together. What we did is, as a group, changed as we got older, but the point was not to be home, not to be inside, because the punishment was what? Grounded. You have to stay in the house.
Yeah, you have to stay in the house. Yeah. And so now being in the house is that's kind of where everybody is.
Weird. It's completely flipped.
It's flipped on its axis. Yes.
So it's fair to say all these things are connected. I don't know if there is a causal relationship, but once upon a time, we wanted to be outside. We know the benefits of being outside and also being together. There's a social interaction. There's the maturation process, all those things. But at the same time, I wonder if it's not connected, going back to 7-Eleven, why we have a lot of kids who don't have good sense.
Okay, because there's a checks and balances too, right? You play outside, you get in a conflict. I'll never forget my son and his neighbor friend, because there's 13 of them that all play together. So anyways, they were into a little argument in the basketball world, whatever they were fighting about outside, and I heard them, came outside, and I tried to solve the problem for them. And later my son came in and said, "Don't ever do that again." And I said, "What do you mean?"
I know what he's going ready to say.
So say it. What was he saying?
Well, I would have said, first, you made me look like a mama's boy.
Yep.
In front of them, it's like I need someone to save me, as opposed to letting me handle it as a growing man.
Yes. It was in that line, and it was, I would have beat him anyways, and you came out.
Okay.
You know.
One and the same. Yeah.
But again, going back to the 7-Eleven thing, why are these kids coming up with these, you know, kind of shenanigans to get into? Who stops them? Who says, "Hey, buddy, this is not a good idea"? You know, with your friends, somebody out there is going to say, "No, my dad's going to kill me. I can't." Right?
That was me.
And that was you. And that might have been my son.
Someone said to me a long time ago, life and sometimes death is decided on the car that you either get into or the car you choose not to get into. Those decisions that you make, because I've had some friends who've gone to jail because they got in the car and went that direction, and some who ended up in the cemetery because they got in this car and went in some other direction. But there needs to be some sort of reference point to know that I can't do that. That's too far.
I love that. That's a great way to think about it because honestly, I spent 10 years of my childhood visiting my parent in the penitentiary. So this is, one decision away from having a totally different life that impacts a lot of people.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We'll have more with Claudine Cooper in just a moment. ClaudineCooper.com. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app as we continue our Wellness Wednesday here. Claudine, last segment, I was basically saying that health and wellness, exercise, the communal activity does more than just keep our bodies right. It keeps our minds right, and it keeps us on a certain path. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I also feel like the social impact of exercise, especially in a group, you have run groups, you have walk groups, you have people who go take water aerobics in the pool. And even what I've noticed in the group fitness space is people may not necessarily love to work out, but they like to be around other people. And how does that impact our lives? What would you say, Mo?
Oh, I'm a person who needs to be working out in a group of people. One, because I have an ego and I don't want to fall out in front of anyone, so I push through. And also, it gives my mind somewhere to go, so I don't feel like all the focus is on me. It's really hard to work out one-on-one. It's really like to have a trainer or someone just telling you, okay, 4 more sets, whatever. I can't. It's really difficult for me to do that.
So this has been my observation, right? So, I go to work in a gym and I just kind of stand around and watch what people are doing as well as teach my classes and connect with people throughout the day. But one thing I have noticed is that the people who are on a solo mission, right? Usually they do a couple of repetitions on the leg extension and then they look at their phones. And that has been something that is newer. As you know, I got my first gym job when I was 18 years old, and I'm getting ready to turn 50 in January. So that's 32 years that I've been able to see the evolution of fitness, but also the evolution of gym culture. And it wasn't until now, really, that I noticed how distracting the phone can be on the weight room floor. And so here you have a person who's sitting on the leg extension with their phone, and you have someone who's adjacent, but they're not close by, but they're close enough to see that they want to get in on that machine.
Yes.
But they're not they don't want to impose. There is this kind of delicacy that's happening now, and I'm noticing it. Back in the day in gym culture, if you wanted to use the leg extension and I'm on it, you would just come up and say, "Can I work in?" And mostly I would just say yes. That's gym etiquette, right? Here's a couple things I've noticed recently, new changes. The first one is a person will wait for you. Instead of asking, can they work in, they'll watch you from afar to see when you finish so that they don't have to ask you, can they work in? That's one. The second thing is I've seen something which I never saw before, which is people saying, no, you cannot work in. Now, that blows my mind because, like I said, I've been in this industry so long, there are certain things that go without saying, the etiquette of it all.
Yeah, if you're not actively using the machine, or if you're not just say in between reps, and I'll respect that, then you need to move. That's what I thought.
Okay, but I'm telling you, this phone is I don't even think people realize how much time. Because even in our last segment, I talked about TikTok because I do like TikTok. I like to scroll. I like to get TikTok tends to be a little bit more educational, if you want to find out how to make something.
If you say so, Claudine.
You don't go on TikTok?
I go on every now and then. I wouldn't call it educational. Okay?
Come on. If you want to know how to make oven-baked rice, they have 1,000 people making oven-baked rice. If you want to know, no, it's just, to me, look, every platform is different, and I'm on social media. I'm on all the social media platforms, but there is something special about TikTok that keeps people engaged, and that's what the magic is behind it. And that's why kids can't leave the house because they're on that TikTok, on that TikTok. I sound like I'm 100 years old. But anyways, that being said.
You're only halfway there.
I know. You didn't have to say that.
I'm more than halfway, so
I know. We're all in the same boat here. But anyways, with that being said, I have noticed that people don't realize how much time is passing when they look down at the phone. They may think they're in between reps, as you said, but really they're scrolling. which takes more time than what you may realize. So back in the day when there was no phone interference, you were there to do your 12 to 15 reps on the leg extension,
Right.
take a pause, do your second set, and maybe in that pause, you would let somebody come in and do their set, right? Now you're just scrolling your phone in between your sets.
See, but the flip side for me is, even though it's harder for me to work out individually or, with a trainer or something like, I don't like to be bothered. I don't like to have that type of interaction, that negative interaction in a gym setting. I would rather just avoid the confrontation altogether. So it's easier for me to not be in a classical gym environment. Now, I would take a spin class. I like a class environment, but as far as working in and on the machines and everything, look, I'll get on the treadmill, but I'm not fighting for the machines. I'm just not. I don't want to do that.
Well, the fact that you brought up spin class, so I got to tell you a funny story. So I've never taught spin. I've taught a lot of formats, a lot of different classes, but we got brand new spin bikes. Oh my goodness. So along with the spin bikes, we also got a certification class. And one thing I'm very passionate about is staying abreast of new ways to do my old job, right? So I was like, I'm going to learn how to take a spin class and I'm going to learn how to teach a spin class. And so once we got certified, it was about maybe 20 of us. We all got the certification. And I was like, I'm still not fully confident that I could teach a cycle class, even though I've taught classes for many years, decades, but it's a different animal, the spin bike. So one day, one of the spin instructors, she says, Claudine, I'm sick. I can't come in and teach. And it was too late for me to find a substitute teacher. So I had to jump in and teach the cycle class. It was something I had never done before. And even at my big age of almost 50, I was nervous. I had butterflies. And when I taught the class, one thing that I thought of and one thing that I asked the class to do is, we should all be trying new things, new ways to grow our mind and also challenge our bodies. So when you said that you like cycle classes, we have those too.
Okay, then I'm just going to have to find some time to come see you at Iconics Fitness. For those who don't know, Claudine Cooper can always be found at ClaudineCooper.com. She has online workouts on Friday, but you have to go to ClaudineCooper.com to get the link for that. And she has the free community workouts on Saturday.
That's right.
And where are the Saturday workouts?
They're in Inglewood at the Hollywood Park Retail District. And I'm happy to give people that information if they want to go to ClaudineCooper.com, send me a little note, and I will respond.
Claudine, it's always great to see you. And I would love to get your husband's thoughts for real. Ask him about what would happen. What would he do if he found one of his kids on video ransacking a 7-Eleven?
Oh, don't worry. As soon as I get off this mic, he'll be calling me.
Claudine, I'll see you soon.
Yes, thanks, Mo.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Oh, later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I have long thought that I was different. When I say different, I see the world differently. I relate to stimuli, I think, differently. I'm in my head all the time. I can have complete conversations and theorize about the history and future of the world and have a full-blown theoretical just a discussion with myself. I'm always thinking. I said, I can't be normal. Now, when I'm growing up, I was called everything in the book, weird, whatever. Just, I did not seem to fit. I was not comfortable in my own skin until I would say my 30s. But after that, you start learning more about how the mind is different from person to person and what we may call someone who's neurodivergent or someone who receives stimuli a certain way. Like I experience synesthesia, where if you play a note, I also see a color. I will hear the note and I associate a color with it. It's just weird, but it's something that has always been true with me. I came across this article about this life coach who was undiagnosed with ADHD until she turned 30. And these are some of the clues, symptoms, behaviors that she said that were picked up on, which said, or were emblematic of being ADHD. Take it for what it's worth and see if it might apply to you. People with ADHD might loop a single song for ages, extracting every ounce of emotion until they can't stand it anymore. That is me. I will listen to a single song in a car or at home over and over and over and over and, wait for it, over and over and over. Don't ask me to explain why, but I'm listening to every chord progression, every note, every minor tonal inflection by the vocalist. I'm listening then to the harmony. I am just drenching myself in a single song over and over again. Sometimes it's because I want to relate to the memories associated with the song. It might be memories of someone. It might be memories of something, a time in my life. Like there's certain songs that I'll listen to which remind me of my freshman year in college, which was the best year of my life for any number of reasons. Part of the reason why I always like going back to Georgetown for alumni events, and I'll be going back in November because it just evokes certain memories, the nostalgia that we all love. So I will listen to a song over and over and over and over and over again. For what it's worth, that's me. Now, there's something else. There are other things that people will do. Another is stalling over minute chores that would take merely moments, procrastinating for no real good reason. Even though you know it will take you only 5 minutes, you cannot get yourself to do it. That's me. There'll be 3 dishes in the sink. 3, not 4, 3. And I will look at them and I will just stare at them. I will stand at the sink and I'll say, do I need to do it now or will I do it when I get home from work? Home from work. And all the time that I'm thinking about it, I could have performed the task of washing because look, I was raised that you wash the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. Okay, so you have to do the one before you do the other. So I wash the dishes and then put them in the dishwasher. In the time that I've been talking to you in this one segment, I could have washed the dishes and I'm still having that internal dialogue. It's like, I don't know though. Do I really need to do washing right now? Have I run the dishwasher? Maybe I should wait until tonight because I'm going to have dinner and there are going to be other dishes. So why just make one process of one dishwashing and then put them all in the dish? All that's going through my mind. And I think, am I the only person who thinks like that? Evidently not. And here's another one. And this is me. This is altogether me. Have you ever come home, like you're coming home from work, and you just sit in the car and linger for like an hour? You might be ADHD because you have this problem with switching tasks. I can't tell you. Now, I may joke about like, I don't want to go in the house because, I'm going to have to hear it from La Mujer. That's part of it. Don't get me wrong. Usually she sleeps. So I want to linger in the car to make sure that they're snoring when I walk in. Okay, just to be safe.
Make sure all the lights are out.
Right. If I walk in and there's some lights on, it's like, damn it. So I may linger in the car. But then I realized I linger all the time. When I got to work today, I was in no rush. Just like, I'm just going to sit here and linger in the car. I have stuff to do. But you know what? I don't want to get out of the car. There are all sorts of things which are just running around this crazy mind of mine. And that's my word, crazy. They're just things which I can't explain. I am actually now I'm more comfortable with myself now than ever before. But when you're a kid growing up, people look at you like, what is your issue? What is your problem? I would listen to music all night long, but it'd be like 1 or 2 songs. All night long. I'd have those big, bulky, over-the-ear headphones that they used to use in the 1970s, and I would listen to vinyl, or back then they had analog cassette tapes, and I would just listen to like 2 songs, 1 or 2 songs. I can remember it was either like Michael Jackson or DeBarge or it could be Van Halen, but it was just the same song over and over and over and over and over. But it was completely normal to me. So what does this mean? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for you? Maybe maybe we're all a little bit ADHD, maybe just a little bit. I mean, because I will obsess over the smallest, most minute things ever. Each time I drive home, there's this one bulb out on our house, and I see it, and it's out, and it's like, I need to change that. Every single time I drive home, I see that it's out. And I have the same conversation with myself as if it's the first time. I need to change that bulb. And then I'll drive in the garage and linger. And in the time that I'm lingering, I could have changed the bulb and ended the vicious cycle. But instead, I'm going to linger, not do it, waiting for the lights to be out in the house. And then I go inside, and then I look at the sink. Damn it, I still got to do the dishes. The same ones from earlier in the day. Is that your life, or is it just mine? It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And on the other side of this break, well, we got to talk about Costco. We talked about how gold is still a thing, and it's always a thing in this country. But I only found out today that Costco sells gold. And now they stepped it up. Costco is now selling platinum bars. So damn, what type of operation do they run over there? It's like Costco a front for some drug ring or something? Do they sell drugs too? Look, if you're dealing gold, you're doing something shady. Who sells gold?
You got to pay for those hot dogs somehow.
KFI AM 640 Live, everyone, the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I honestly did not know this. I'm not saying this for effect or to be funny. I did not know in all of my years of my wife going to Costco. I don't have a Costco membership. I just go with her. My father, when he was alive, he loved Costco. He would just find reasons to go so he could get some of the hot dogs. In all my years of knowing of Costco, I did not know that Costco would sell gold bars. And not only do they sell gold bars, they sell $100 to $200 million worth of gold bars each month. Each month. I had absolutely no idea. And because of the economic, I'll say uncertainty of the moment, given issues like the expanding conflict in the Middle East, well, gold usually rises in value during uncertain times, and this is no different. So Costco is making even more money. But get this. Let's say you're really into the precious metals market. I'm not. That's not something I've ever done. That's not something I've ever endeavored to do. And probably someone is saying right now, oh, Mo, you're missing out. Maybe so. Maybe so. It's just not my thing. But beyond just selling gold bars, Costco, in addition to selling gas and gold, they are now selling platinum bars. And it's available right now. Each bar is being sold for $1,089.99. And it's in the precious metals selection, like it's on aisle 6 or something like that. You can find platinum bars. It's right next to the gold, top shelf. You need someone to get on the ladder and get it? Yeah, we'll help you. Am I the only one who didn't know this? Stephen, did you know that they were selling gold bars?
The gold I knew. Platinum I learned today. And now all I think about is like walking in like, I need some toilet paper. And also, where's the platinum?
Who goes to Costco? I'm being serious. Who would go to Costco to purchase precious metals? Evidently everybody, but I'm trying to figure out who that person is, what type of person. If you're the discount-minded person or you're trying to buy in bulk, what would then possess you to then drop thousands of dollars, presumably, thousands of dollars on either gold or platinum? I never in my life have, and I think of Costco as a big warehouse. It's a grocery store / warehouse. That's how I perceive it in my mind. Not a jeweler, not a place that's selling precious metals, not a place where I'm thinking like, let me go get some gold before the market crashes. Is Costco still open? Oh, yes, they're open till 10. Oh, we got time to get in the car and then drive down to Costco and get some gold and platinum because the world might end tomorrow.
And it's funny how like they talk about Amazon taking over the world with, taking pharmacies, and they have every possible thing available. Costco literally makes almost everything of their own brand at this point. Like, there's nothing you can really think of that there's not a Kirkland signature stamp on it.
Yeah.
And now they're precious metals.
Gold has risen consistently in the last 5 years. Platinum has been a bit more volatile. But in the past 12 months, platinum has risen more than 15%. So it might be a very lucrative investment, but I would never even think of buying semi-precious or even precious metals from a grocery store / warehouse. It never would enter my mind. Never would I think, okay, I need egg whites. I need cantaloupe. I need those little chicken rollers that they make in a side of beef, and also pick up some platinum. I got an extra $3,000. Let's get 3 platinum bars. They probably put it up at the register with all like the candy and all the last second items. Just in case you forgot something, here's $1,000 worth of platinum. You can get a candy bar and a platinum bar right as you're getting ready to exit. Mark, you have a Costco card. Are you going to buy any gold?
No, let me know when they start selling adamantium there, okay?
Well, vibranium might be next.
Yeah, vibranium too. I go to Costco every week or two. I have some weird affinity for it, and I can't really explain it to you, but it would never occur to me either to buy a precious metal there. But I wouldn't have bought gold anyway. After our discussion the other night, I got in touch with a dentist friend of mine who's been hoarding gold for years and asked him, like, what's your plan with this stuff? What are you going to do? And essentially, he copped to me, and I can't give his name on the air for obvious reasons, that he gets a lot of gold ostensibly for tooth work.
Yes.
But keeps it for himself to sell off at some later date.
That's probably illegal. Probably.
Yeah, that's why I can't give his name. But, for a normal person, no, you probably don't need gold. But, preppers, they're going to do what they're going to do. And, maybe we shouldn't be watching so many zombie apocalypse shows, because I promise you, you do not want the zombie apocalypse. Your gold and your platinum aren't going to come in as handy as you think they are right now.
Well, there has to be something that you can really trade for gold. Yeah, I don't know what you can do, when the world is ended in a dystopian America. I mean, more dystopian than it is right now.
And if the things that we see on the news every night of places, being overwhelmed by natural disasters is going to continue getting worse, as the scientists tell us it is, maybe we want some kind of plan, but I just don't see gold figuring into that too much.
You know how I always tell you, I'm not a criminal, but I tend to think like one. If I were going to be a criminal, I would do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder why no one has tried to knock off Costco. They got platinum and gold up in there.
Too much goodwill to Costco. Come on, they're nice folks.
Plus, you can't get in without a ID. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Now you got to scan your card to get in. It's not just some guy standing there looking at it and waving you in without paying attention.
But you think this. Yeah. Now, you think platinum, gold, there's probably far more security at a jeweler, armed security. I'm quite sure they got some security at Costco, but not a hell of a lot. Not a lot. I've been there enough times, okay? Unless they have some secret shoppers with 357 Magnums or something that I don't know about.
No, it's just regular old folks in the Costco garb. I don't see anybody there packing heat or anything like that.
Now, if Costco gets knocked off in next week, I'm not taking credit for that one.
Well, get your alibi sorted out well ahead of time.
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
More informing, more engaging, more stimulating. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.